Building manifestation power. All right, I've been getting a lot of questions lately on how to increase your ability to manifest the things that you want in life. Now, generally speaking, this is a two-part process. First, you have to build your strength with that given power. Second, you need to then apply that power that you gained mastery of to what it is you want to do. Now, this is a two-part process for a very simple reason. Until you have enough power to work with, if you're applying it to manifesting something, it doesn't have enough force to make it happen. So, first we're going to talk about how you go about building manifestation power. Now, in the 60 Skills curriculum, where we use the Kabbalah from Franz Bardon, this is primarily done by taking one of the powers of the letters. So for manifestation, you're talking either G for wealth accumulation, and it's an attractive force, or the letter K to increase your belief in something in order to make it manifest. Now, this is not the only way you can do this. Building that manifestation power can very simply be done by thinking about what it is you want to do. The easiest way to do this is to do it in 15-minute intervals. So 3 times a day for 15 minutes, you sit down and you powerfully and intentionally focus your mind on what you want to do. Specifically, you're going to want to include all the details regarding that thing. What it looks like, how it's going to work, so on and so on and so on. This can take a while. For a basic effect, like say, doubling course sales for an online course you have, this could take as little as 30 days or as many as 90. Now that's in terms of the time applied to this. And this is every day, 3 15-minute sessions, intensely focusing on visualizing what it is you want to happen. Functionally, this works by placing the idea that you're wanting to manifest onto the astral or energetic realm in order to make it manifest later on in the physical. Now, there's some things you have to keep in mind about this. Once you build that thing on the astral, okay, call it an astral temple if you like, you then have to empower that temple. So, any practices that you do that increase your personal level of energy, such as Qigong, pranayama, breath retention, exercise, you get the idea, is going to increase the amount of stuff, functionally, you have to work with. Also, you need to look at how to generate the ability to transmit something. Typically, this is done through development of the fascia, or soft tissues, or ligaments and tendons in the body. So exercises that strengthen your ligaments and tendons, such as weightlifting, okay, kettlebell swings, walking, exercise, rebounding or throwing exercises, jiu-jitsu, rock climbing, this kind of thing, all work very well. Keeping in mind, the exercise needs to have a strong eccentric or loading portion of the exercise in order to function properly. So things like riding a bike, for example, don't work well because it's purely concentric. You're just pushing. There's no receiving or pulling of force. So once you have the ability to generate energy strongly, okay, and then apply it to your vision of what you want to do, now we get to the issue of how you make things manifest. Once you have the energy in place and the picture built up, the next part involves putting that energy to work. So, very simply put, you have to give something a mechanism of expression. So, one way to do this is to do work on it. If you want to build a business, get your LLC, go out there, start advertising, start networking with people, all of this kind of thing. That creates that pathway for this to happen. Now, in the modern world, one of the easiest ways to do this is to have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. You're putting out content every day, you're gaining followers, you're gaining subscribers. This creates a pathway or mechanism of expression. If you're working in manufacturing, say you want to come up with a new special kind of eyeglass that are really going to work well for people, well, then you have to work on building that product. Okay. So you've built the power up in order to have something to work with. You're giving it a mechanism of expression. Okay. This comes to a third part that involves combining the two. So, if you take that power generation method and you apply it while you're working on something, this makes things happen much quicker. So again, letter magic like I use in 60 Skills, you can generate the letter G or the letter K and run those energies in the background while you're working on that thing that you want to have expressed. This is the quickest way to make things happen. Now, there's a limitation to this, and it depends upon that thing you're trying to manifest via the mechanism you're using. If, for example, you want to be the very best person in the world at tying shoelaces, inherently this is going to have some limitations. One, because you have to physically do the work, okay? And two, tying shoelaces, for the most part, is not a high-paying profession. So you may be the best person in the world at that, and you may generate a couple $100,000 a year through your online presence because people like watching your TikTok videos or YouTube Reels on this kind of thing. But ultimately, the thing you're working with doesn't have a very high upside. On the other hand, if you're dealing with biotech or software as a service, these are things that potentially have a much higher upside. Now, this upside is governed not only by what people are willing to pay for it, okay, but also how popular a thing this is. So if you're running a school on hardcore esoteric meditation, it's simply not going to be attractive to many people. You're going to have a limited overall audience. On the other hand, if you're working on selling mattresses, well, everybody needs a mattress, right? So the potential is much higher. That said, competition is another issue. Teaching hardcore meditation, yoga, and esoterica, not a whole lot of competition out there. There are not that many people interested in it, and by virtue of that, there are not that many people working on it. So the entryway for competition is much lower. On the other hand, if we're using the example again of selling mattresses, a lot of people sell mattresses. I mean, it's a pretty wide open kind of thing, and so you're going to have to compete much more effectively in order to get your voice heard. Again, modern telecommunications with the internet make this easier than it's ever been in the past, but what I'm getting at is the nature of what you're working on will ultimately govern the ultimate limits of success. And keep in mind, this is not a new thing. Okay, classically speaking, take something like entertainment. Your most successful entertainers don't generally make their big money off of entertainment. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he made his fortune in real estate in Southern California. He used the resources he gained from being a bodybuilder, an actor, and an entertainer, and then applied those to a huge market known as real estate, and as a result became quite wealthy. This is more typical than not. Most millionaires in the US, for example, became wealthy through a combination of real estate and long-term investing. Notice I didn't say day trading, but they did this consistently for 30 years, and as a result, they became wealthy. Even amongst the truly wealthy, take somebody like Ryan Reynolds, world-famous actor, model, spokesperson. He made most of his fortune through running different businesses. Gin and a cell phone company happen to be two big examples of that. George Clooney made a whole lot of money off a tequila business with his actor friends. Another example of this. Now, the thing they initially did, the acting, the being an investment banker, the being a successful school teacher, gave them the resources they needed to invest in these other things. So keep in mind, your ability to manifest is going to be limited by what you're trying to manifest, the environment in which it's manifest, and the rate and speed at which you can get the resources necessary to make that vision of yours possible. So when it comes to manifestation magic, and we'll use that term, it's really just a combination of building your ability to generate energy or power and then applying it to your end goal. But these two things are separate steps for the most part. You have to work on building your energetic reserves so that you then have something to apply it to. And that application process will get better with the more experience you have. Simply put, the energy reflects off of you from the universe, and based off of who you are and how you're constructed, it will then project itself outwards in order to make your various goals accomplished. So, if you like the topic of today's discussion, give us a like, consider subscribing to the channel or becoming a follower, and you can find more details about the 60 Skills curriculum and how to put some of this together in the details portion of the description below. Otherwise, as per usual, train hard and be well.